Hi guys and girls, so today we're going to talk a little bit about cheat meals. What are they? What aren't they? How they differ from a refeed and how they can be used to your advantage. Okay, so let's start off with what a cheat meal is. For me, I prefer to call a cheat meal an open meal because that's exactly what it is. It's something that is off plan, it's not necessarily controlled. Now, don't take that to mean it's an excuse for conscious overeating, but it's not like a refeed. This is how they differ. If we give you a cheat meal or an open meal, it's me saying to you as a client, go off, kind of do what you want. Have something you really enjoy, pizza, ice cream, burger, whatever that may be. Whereas a refeed, if you are dieting, is a controlled and calculated increase in often something like carbohydrates, which serves a purpose to your diet, serves a purpose to your body, refueling glycogen, etc. Whereas a cheat meal is it's more about mental respite than a physical effect, okay? So what are the factors that we need to take into account when we talk about cheating? Number one, cheating can add variety to your diet. Now, one of the pitfalls of most people who are very, very conscious about what they're eating, who are dieting, quote unquote, is that they tend to stick to a limited amount of foods. As they stick to only a few foods, they throw the rest out. Now, this in itself can cause a real problem. It can cause issues long term with digestive function. Again, plays with your head a little bit, okay? This is why diet seems so restrictive. Now, a cheat meal allows you to throw in a bit of different food and it keeps you a little bit more interested in things and also helps your body to work the way it's supposed to work. Secondly, cheat meals give you something to look forward to, okay? If you consider, you remember the BBC bite-size approach to GCSE revision. Take things down to bite-sized chunks and they're far, far, far more easier to manage long term. Now, if you are to add in cheat meals, it breaks up a diet. If I say to you, right, you are not allowed to cheat for the next 12 weeks, you're gonna go mad. You're gonna hate me, you're gonna hate it. The chances are you're gonna cheat anyway, you're gonna crash. Difference is you're going to feel rubbish about it when you do. Whereas if you you schedule in cheat meals or open meals, it breaks the diet down into a far more bite-sized, manageable diet. A bunch of mini diets is the way to look at it, okay? Cheat meals allow for a social life. This is a big thing. Again, to a degree, it does have to be scheduled, unless you're very, very controlled with it and you can say, right, well, I'm going out tonight just on a whim and I'm going to have pizza or a pasta or whatever it may be, but I know that is then my cheat meal for this week. Okay, that's one way of doing it. What I prefer to do and what I advise you do is that you actually schedule them in. So if you know you're going out on Saturday, don't cheat during the week, and then you can have a little bit of freedom when you actually do go out. The one thing that you need to consider, the fitness industry, the health industry, to a degree, is not necessarily that healthy anymore. Why? Because often people go from one eating disorder, whether that's undereating or overeating, to another eating disorder within the fitness industry. And that is being fixated, obsessed with foods, whether that's your diet foods or if that is your cheat meals, your open meals. It tends to lead to being so fixated on that cheat meal that when you get there, you overeat. You consciously try to overeat until you're sick. Now, instead of having one meal, which is just a meal off plan, a meal off diet, you go absolutely crazy with it and you start eating everything in sight. Now, that then does become a problem and it's something that does need to be looked at. So do bear that in mind. Don't become fixated on the food. It's an open meal. It's something just to give you a little bit of respite and enjoy. One of the things you have to take into account is that cheat meals can interrupt the habit formation process of a diet. So by that I mean, let's say you start a new diet. You've got really, really bad eating habits. We start a new diet. The first 2 to 3 weeks is about creating new habits. It's about getting into your system, getting into your mind, getting into your body, new habits, new healthy habits that are going to serve you long term. Now, if we look at the practical application of this, something like our Live UP program, the Live UP online training program that we do, what I've done there is I don't allow a cheat meal for the first 4 weeks. Okay, why do I do that? Because that gives people time to create really, 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 really good habits. Now, following that, I allow a cheat meal once a week, okay, providing they have done everything else correctly, providing they've been compliant, providing they've been bang on. I say, right, go and have an open meal. That's absolutely fine. That is scheduled in. Where they put it in the week is entirely up to them, but they have to deserve it. They have to have earned it. They have to be ready for it, okay? I only add that in after the first 4 weeks, so it's allowed them to create new habits. Remember, any habit you perfect, anything you do over and over again, you are practicing either perfection or imperfection. So if you get into the habit of having cheat meals either too early or too regularly, they become habitual and it's going to be very, very hard to break. It's going to be very, very hard to get in shape. Now, let's look at diets and sustainability. If you find that when you're on a diet, all you can think about is pizza or burgers or ice cream or chocolate or you name it, if you cannot get that out of your head, it's possible you should be looking at as a red flag, okay? If you are obsessed with cheat meals when you're on a diet, the chances are that that diet is too extreme, and it is unsustainable. Your body will always communicate to you what it needs. Now, if you are so very deprived in calories or carbohydrates or whatever, your body is not going to signal to you, okay, go and eat some oats. It's going to say, give me the fastest solution to this problem. Therefore, it will say, I want chocolate, I want pizza, I want something super, super carby, super, super sweet, because I know I will then get the calorie dense foods that my body needs to get back on a level, okay? Now, with all that bearing in mind, how do you cheat and stay on track? Number one, I would suggest is that you want to be fairly lean before you do cheat. Now, by that, I mean, for most females, let's say around between, let's give a ballpark of about 16%. That's when you should be fairly happy cheating. Obviously, you can cheat relatively regularly then and probably get away with it. The same applies to guys, somewhere between 10 and 12%. You can probably cheat slightly more regularly and get away with it. Obviously, if you're bigger, if you're carrying a lot more body fat, I would recommend that A, you don't go on such an extreme diet, and B, you don't cheat so regularly, because again, you need to form these good habits. It's very, very important. For best results, for most people, consider that 10% of your calories can come from something that's not necessarily diet friendly, okay? So how you do that is up to you. You can either say, right, 10% of my day, I can have something slightly off plan, or 10% of my week, I can have something slightly off plan. So let's put that into practice. Let's say you're on a 3,000 calorie per day diet. 10% of that is 300 calories. So if you've had 2,700 calories of perfect food, then allow yourself 300 calories of something you like, you know, some chocolate in the evening in front of Netflix, whatever it may be. That is okay. Alternatively, you can total that up across the week, and you can have it all in one meal or one day at the end of the week, or you can split it into two if you really, really struggle to stay on your diet long term, okay? These are sustainability tools. It's a way to make sure you are getting the results long term, that you're not thinking about that short-term fix, that over time you can get to where you want to go. Please do also bear in mind that it's not an excuse for overeating. You can't overeat. It's a cheat meal, it's an open meal. Think about it like an open meal. You're not supposed to be going into a restaurant and spending 600 quid on every possible plate of food that you can get, and then feeling sick for the next day, and then feeling crappy about it the next day. It is literally an open meal. It's a bit of respite, it's unplanned, it's something that you can just use to relax yourself and give your brain a little bit of a break. Now, when you put in all of this together, it's important to, as I say, take all of the factors into account. You're not overeating. Schedule them in and keep track of them. You have options as to how you use them. You can have one a week, and if you're tracking calories and macros, you can use the total of your 10% at the end of the week, or you can split it into a couple per week dependent on your ability to comply with the diet. Now, please do bear in mind everything we've said here. Watch the video again if you need to, read the accompanying article, take some points from it and try to action them. Dieting isn't necessarily supposed to be the devil that people make it out to be. You don't have to go to extremes, you just have to be consistent long term. Now, if you want any further help, please do go over to upfitness.com. You can check out all of the services that we offer you there. That can be the live UP online coaching program. That is our lowest cost online coaching program we have ever done. We also do one-to-one online training. We can do this with you anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are, so long as you have an internet connection, we can coach you online. And for those of you who are near our gyms, we do have them all over the world now. Check out the website, check out the locations. Of course, you can apply to come in as a one-to-one client or even do our group exercise. So I hope this video has been very, very handy for you. Like it, share it, and I will see you soon.